What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode 104 of Park to Prem here with Tower Town. Today we start on my manager profile, a screen which I left a comment asking to see, and I thought, you know what, we've not shown this in a while. When you compare it to episode 1 where we had wands in absolutely everything, there's been some quite nice improvements. We've almost got our very first perfect attribute as well. Man management seems like it might be the first to hit 20. Or maybe motivator. Either way, pretty good progress. It's good to see some yellow on this board, and it has improved a lot even since you guys were last here. Of course, our coaching badges are already maxed out, so I don't even think that our coaching attributes are likely to change a great deal. I assume that they can, improve a little bit over time, but yeah, there's no further coaches that we can take to help us on our merry way, but on the whole, things are going quite well. Apparently, Gary Liddell, I have a close friendship with Gary. Do we have a friendship? How do I know you, Gary? What have you been doing? You were Rochdale manager. You were our under-23s coach, and then you went to Rochdale. And you went to them last summer. And, Gary. Oh, he's been sacked after 9 months. Do you want to come back? No. Oh, I'm a little bit upset. You actually look quite good. Either way, poor Gary, sacked. I mean, that's what he gets for leaving our under-23s team, I suppose. Anyway, shifting our focus onto what's been going on since we were last here, there are only 9 games left of the season. Today, though, not a league game. It's an FA Cup 5th round tie against West Bromwich Albion. A huge one there. And, well, last episode we talked about the clean sheets and the defence and the fact that things were gelling. Look at this. Look at it. Just drink it in. This is something that we've not seen in many, many seasons. Even the last time we were in the Championship, it wasn't quite like this. Of course, last episode we took on Leeds United, so you can see since then we have had 5 clean sheets in 7 games. That is a really, really impressive turnaround. Defensively, it's become one of our big strengths, actually, our defence, which is a little bit odd. Of course, if we just recap, we looked at this last time, but the Media Dream 11, they do really like our defence. You can see Ox is there, Magi's there, Lazarus is there as well. And just on the whole, we've kind of just got in a groove now where this back line has just gelled. Morrigan has suddenly unleashed his inner Walton spirit animal and just stops a load of stuff, which is, of course, fantastic. And then ahead of him, I feel like a lot of it was just the gelling. We have a Greek player, we have a Brazilian, we have an Italian, we have a German, we have a Spaniard in goal as well. There was always going to be a bit of a getting to know you period, and they all know each other now. And much like before, the gelling is just there. I mean, if we just look, you can see, looking at the hierarchy, obviously things are kind of falling into line here, although the players at the top aren't the most consistent first-team players, I suppose. But if we just look at social groups, I mean, you can see here, Lazarus, Magi and Ox, they've got their own little social group going on. Unfortunately for CC, Richards and Volta, they're still finding their feet. But they only came in January for the most part, so we'll give them a little more time. Of course, CC the exception to the rule there. Anyway, let's talk about the results since we last here, because there's been a bit of a variety of goal scorers. You can see we started off with a 2-0 win against former Premier League winners Blackburn. A good little result. Nicky Richards was the first in this game. He scored a goal in this run of games, which was highly questionable. It may have been in this one, it may be a little bit later. You'll know the goal I'm talking about when you see it. And then James Molyneux from the penalty spot. He got his 3rd goal of the season. Bless him. He's not had a good year, the striker. I kind of felt like when we went back down to the Championship, he was really going to shine again like he had done a couple of years ago, where he got 25 goals and 14 assists. Not quite captured that previous form, it would be fair to say. But a goal nevertheless, and a 2-0 win, and we followed that up not much later with 2 from Shvetsov. Some really tidy finishes in this one. His 2nd goal I particularly liked. But throughout this kind of run of games, we've not been blowing teams out the water. It's not been the old Towlaw way where we'd score 7 or 8. This has been quite controlled, and despite not really changing the system a great deal, it's not like we're suddenly playing more defensively. I think it just comes down to the overall technical ability of our players just going up and up and up. And now we can play this kind of system fairly convincingly. Today's actually going to be quite an interesting test. Taking on a Premier League side in West Brom, we're going to see how we get on away from home playing this style of play. Of course, I would quite like a cup run. Anyway, the next game we had was against Sheffield Wednesday, a 3-1 win there, and not long after we beat Cardiff. But Dylan Turnbull, sent off after 17 minutes. There was one man for the job, and he turned up in the 89th minute. Mr. Andre himself. Yes, the Brazilians have started to score. They've started to find their groove. Andre with a huge goal for us there. We then did unfortunately lose a game against Swansea 1-0. Massively against the run of play. A bit unfortunate. We'll live on. We'll get over it. Shout out to the person in isolation down my road as well. It's quite hot today in England, so I've got my window open. Unfortunately, that doesn't stop the sound of motorbikes. Anyway, let's reshift our focus, shall we? And I'll tell you who has been focused. Mr. Volta. He got his first ever senior goal for the club against Wigan. A really, really tidy finish. And another game where we had a sending off. This time the sending off happened after we'd taken the lead. And well, fortunately for us, we were able to hold on for the 1-0. Anyway, most recently, away from home against Hull City, a potential banana peel of a game. But Nicky Richards, the new kid on the block, signed of course from Manchester City, grabbed 2 for us in this game. With Dylan Turnbull out suspended, he has come in, he's been given an opportunity. And he took his opportunity and scored a couple. And, well, that takes him to 3 league goals for the club so far. And whilst he's not exactly firing on all cylinders, he's looking like pretty good business at £3 million already, dare I say it. Of course, folks, we are here at the start of March. So next episode, we've got our youth candidates coming through. And apparently it's a terrific group of players with the potential to be a real golden generation for the club. That's quite exciting, isn't it? We'll look forward to that next time, I suppose. Bizarrely, with the way the league is playing out, I'm a little bit concerned it could be a bit of an anticlimactic ending to the season. If we just look at things here, you can see we currently sit 7 points behind Southampton and 8 points ahead of Burnley. We're kind of just in this weird spot where it feels like we should now just get automatic promotion, really, with 9 games left. I hope certainly that we're not going to have the late season drama we've seen in the past. Of course, we'll hold out on that. Really, I would love now to go on an FA Cup run to cap off this year. This is the round before the quarterfinals. We're taking on West Brom. You can see, looking through the teams here, MK Dons the only League One team left. And in fact, there's not too many Championship teams left either at this point. Our opposition today are West Brom. They currently sit in 17th. Laudrup is their manager. Charlie Collins, apparently their key player. I'm just going to tell you who's really good because I can't actually see it. The kind of player who, if he does have a relegation release clause and if they go down, we might look to snap him up. Interestingly enough, you can see the teams on the cusp of going down. Sheffield United, one of the teams who relegated us last year, and Brighton and Fulham not doing particularly great either. Although I will say, with the exception of Fulham, with 8 games left, it's kind of anyone's battle, isn't it, there in the Premier League? Wow, it's almost as close as the season just gone where we got narrowly relegated on 38 points. That points total might not be enough to keep you up again this year, bizarrely. But anyway, West Brom today, in terms of little bits of team news, there's none. Everyone's here, no one's suspended. We have had a weird issue with discipline as of late, which does leave me a little... I don't know how to feel about it, because it's not really cost us, but at the same time, it leaves me a bit just kind of sighy, We've all been there. You're playing Football Manager and a player gets sent off after 10 minutes and you kind of just accept it. The good news for me has been that I've not got too tilted and too upset by the game, because even when we've had sendings off, for the most part, we've managed to grind out some points. Of course, this is going to be a bit more challenging today. There is some Championship fixtures going on, so if Burnley were to slip up, that can massively play into our favour. In terms of team for today's game, we're going to go with Morrigan in goal. We've already talked about him. Ox at left back. Apparently Ox here, this name is actually, the word given to oxes in German that have been castrated. I don't know if this is true, and this probably isn't PG-13, but apparently oxes that have been castrated, I guess that's maybe to make them less aggressive. I don't really know. They're called oxes. I don't want to suggest anything for Marlon, but with some of the red cards he's had this year, I'm getting some ideas for what we might have to do to him. Anyway, he's at left back. We've got Lazarus at right back. The Greek magician, he is learning to play the right back position really, really well. I will just give him a little warning because he's not got an assist in a little while. I'm hoping that in saying that now and drawing attention to it, he will now score right on cue. We'll wait and see if that's the case. Anyway, it's Maggi and Douglas at centre-back. In the centre-mid positions, we're going to go with Alvarez, and alongside him, we are going to go with Highland. I feel like Highland really has been putting in some great performances this year. He's been unleashing his inner Andre Dezelle. 7.49 rating for him. He's looking like a real bargain buy. Out on the left, we are going to go with Rodriguez. He's more natural out on the right-hand side where you can cut in on his left foot, but because of Volta, he finds himself somewhat out of position. And while speaking of the devil, I want to claim he's done amazingly. He's been okay so far. Let's see if he can have a better performance today. But, well, he got a really nice assist, actually, against Hull. And, of course, he got his first goal for the club recently. So his last couple of performances have been fairly optimistic. Anyway, up top, we've got Turnbull and Shvetsov. What you've come to expect at this point, I think. Dylan Turnbull, what a player he is. Just please don't get sent off today, Dylan. It's not that difficult. Shvetsov alongside him, 30 goals for the season, 13 assists. He hasn't actually improved that much this year. I'm beginning to feel like Shvetsov is probably maxing out his potential ability at this point. He is incredibly, incredibly good. Make no mistake. In my opinion, and I'm sure many pundits' opinions, comfortably the best player in our championship side and indeed in the league. I don't feel like that's really in much doubt at this point. But anyway, we are going to play naively. We're going to play on the front foot. We're going to try and go for it. This could be a sampler of what to expect come next year if we do indeed get promoted, which you feel like at this point we should get promoted, but of course nothing is certain in life besides taxes, Arsenal finishing 4th, and Football Manager screwing you over and you losing games where you have all the shots on goal. So yeah, besides those things, nothing's certain. So we do need to keep winning. Of course, this isn't a league game, but I still want to keep winning this one. An FA Cup run would be good. I mean, after last year's EFL Cup heartbreak, I wouldn't mind another cup run this year. Why not dream of a trip to Wembley for the FA Cup final? Anyway, we've got Lazarus here. Throwing the ball to Highland. Back with him. What can he do here? He whips in. Turnbull. Oh my gosh, it's been headed away. And now, well, they're going to look to break away perhaps. Colombo with it. Maggi, what a tackle. Unfortunately, they do pick up the second ball there. A lack of hunger in the centre of the midfield to really win that back. Now Burns coming down the left-hand side. Is he going to, well, be able to burn us? He is not, although Bosma's going to Bosma us. That doesn't work like Burns does it? Wilco with the goal. And, well, Wilco is a discount shop in England. That was not a discount goal, was it? That was a top-quality finish. Let's just enjoy this. Well, enjoy it as much as you can. I mean, you kind of have to appreciate a goal like that. It's on the volley, outside the box, curls it into the bottom corner. Almost one of those ones where really no one can take the blame. Anyway, it is coming up to half-time. A second goal conceded here would be somewhat of a problem. And, well, I don't want to panic anyone, but we are now 2 goals down. And we've not done a great deal in this first half. And this is a relegation candidate team for the Premier League. I am already thinking about next year. You will be pleased to know I'm thinking about ways that we can maybe show ourselves up at the back in games where we're not favoured. I've got some ideas, folks. But they're not ready to be implemented yet because I've not thought about them enough, and I think we would actually need to sign a few players to make them work. One of the ideas, I mean, I don't want to look like we're kind of planning to just park the bus, but this is one of the ideas I've had for a tactic, and you know what? Why not give it a little go? So Highland's going to play as a deep line playmaker. Or they're going to play Alvarez, Ceci and Rodriguez as a free. It's kind of like a 4-1-2-1-2, but with 3 centre mids. We should just sit a little bit more defensively, sound, I suppose. I feel like having an attacking midfielder who tracks back can sometimes leave you overwhelmed in the middle. Maybe caught a little narrow, caught just lacking a player. So we're going with something a little different. We'll see if it works in this second half, I suppose. It's one of the plan Bs of many that I've devised in my mind, but this feels like a good time to test it out. First half we did absolutely nothing, and well, Lazarus nods it down to Shvetsov. Can you get the ball into the... No, you've forgotten about it. You know what I said about him being the best player in the championship? Take it all back. Dylan's better. Dylan's better. Anyway, Troy Parrott's turned his man. He crosses it to the back post. I don't want to panic, but we probably should be. And Colombo with an absolutely nutty finish. How good are you, Colombo? 8 finishing. Well, there you go. I saw all 8 of that finishing there. Thank you very much, Football Manager. 3-0. It's I want to say it's turning into a bit of an embarrassing game. I think it's been a little bit embarrassing since the end of the first half, in truth. Really tidy finish, though. I can complain, but at the same time, it's just a really good goal. They've scored, a couple of really good long shots. I feel like the second goal we could have done more for. Shvetsov, you look offside. You're not offside. Ox has got a lovely little assist. Of course, if we do play this narrower system, our wing-backs and their capabilities going forward will be tested, and they were tested right there. By the way, quick question, I've not asked about it already. What do we think of the new away kit, folks? You can see the 2D image there. It's kind of the traditional half and half, but instead of using the black that we used last year that caused some kit clashes, go with a light grey. I would like to know your thoughts. Either way, he was onside by not a massive amount. I was going to say a country mile, but that would be a little bit of a fib. Could we get another? Could we? I want to believe. If we get another, we start to believe everyone. Shvetsov whips it in. Highland, what can you do, my friend? Ox is out on the left. I think Ox has heard the threats I was making about him in the, before the game, and he's decided now to put in a good performance. Morrigan lumps it forward, looking for, I guess that was Ox in the wide areas. Of course, he's not going to be in the wide areas that far up the pitch as the wing-back. You can see, we're really trying to cut out the space in the middle with this system, but it does leave us a little exposed perhaps in the wide areas. Although Lazarus wins it and lumps it forward to Shvetsov. Andre, please, give us hope. Give us a chance. He's giving us a little bit more than a chance. It's 3-2 here, ladies and gentlemen. Massively against the run of play. But I will say now, we've had 2 clear-cut chances. We've had 1 half chance. We've created the best opportunities in this game. And we are starting to take them. And you wonder if momentum's maybe in our favour. I had a go at Lazarus for a lack of an assist. What do you know? What do you know? Both of our fullbacks, since the system change, getting involved going forward. Rodriguez has had a poor game, so I'm going to bring in Andre. And I'm also going to take off Alvarez. Do I want to bring him off for Shuttleworth? I don't know if I do. Dylan Turnbull, you've been rubbish. I'm going to bring in Nicky Richards. Nicky is growing on me. I feel like he's such a good impact sub off the bench. He's got crazy pace, 18 finishing. He is just that kind of perfect striker to bring on against a tiring defence. Unfortunately, time is kind of running out here against West Brom, so we're going to go very attacking. We've got to start lumping it forward a little bit more. I will say that we have made a mini recovery, and actually, since we made the tactical change, had way fewer chances against us in this game, which I suppose is something that we should look at with some optimism. That said, we do need to defend it. Salcedo whips it in. Okay. Well, it's over, everyone. I don't want to crush your spirits too much, but there ain't an FA Cup run happening this year. Troy Parrott with a nutty volley. Nutty is the best word I can say. I'm not sure what kind of nuts it was. Maybe a cashew? Anyway, Salcedo whips it in, and then Troy Parrott on the... I mean, it's just a bit filthy, some of the goals they've scored against us today. I don't want to watch it again. He was onside. I don't need to see it again, Football Manager. Don't torment me like this. I mean, away from home against Premier League opposition, it's not the worst result. It's not the worst result. You were underdog, boys. You gave a good effort. Look at that. They're all very, very happy. Now, we're not going to end the episode immediately today because it has just dawned on me that there's a new player that I need to introduce you to. And I also don't know when the new intake day is going to be, so maybe we'll continue forward once just to see if it happens. If it doesn't, I'm not going to play through the entire month of March today. I'm very sorry, everyone. You were superb, Shvetsov. But yes, we did make a very late deadline day signing. I know, very me. And the player I signed for £5 million, that's not a small amount of money, was this guy, Roberto Gonzalez. Now, you can see here, he's a centre mid. He should be available for the under-23s. Have I got it set? I haven't. But this guy, we've signed for £5 million. He's only just turned 18 as well. He turned 18 3 days after we signed him, or 3 days before we signed him. £5 million, played in La Liga a bit. Doesn't have the craziest pace by any means, but technically, attacking-wise, what a phenomenal talent. And a bit of a punt for the future, but a player who I think we can make some money off or just explode into the first team. But both are acceptable outcomes, Roberto. No pressure. Anyway, as I said, we'll continue forward once just to see if, the intake day happens. I have had a few people mention to me, and you may know this, you may not. Burnley drew, by the way. That's huge for us. That can allow us to pull even further clear. So thank you very much, Cardiff. They actually scored 2 90th-minute goals to get the 2-2 draw. But yeah, what I was going to just say is a few people have said to me, Jack, are you going to be going for a son this year in Football Manager? Now, if you don't know, in Football Manager, if your manager is over the age of 35, there is kind of a very, lots of veries, slim chance that you can have a son appear if you're of the correct age. It's a hugely unlikely thing. In past years, you could save the day before, like your new youth intake came into the team and you saw their names and try and get a son that way. It doesn't work like that anymore. It's all predetermined when you get that first preview kind of in December time, at least if you're managing in England. So with that in mind, I would like a son, to all the people who have been asking, but the fertility rates have gone down a little bit for me. So if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I will say a golden generation is very exciting. In terms of when we'll be back, we have got Southampton at the end of the month. There is a chance that that game becomes a bit of a nothing match, but depending on the youth intake, I might come back and do that game as well as cover the youth intake. I guess with 9 games left of the year, we currently trail them by 7 points. A win there would close the gap to 4 if things keep how they're going. Maybe. I mean, they've only lost 1 game all year, so it's going to be very challenging to dethrone them, but at the same time, trying to be that team to beat them, especially at home, feels like it could be a good enough reason to come back. But anyway, youth intake tomorrow, that is exciting. I hope to see you guys for it. Thank you for your ongoing support as always. We are doing really well in the Championship. It wasn't the result we wanted today. Leaves me a little bit apprehensive of what could follow in the Premier League, but at least for now, we're going to look at the positives. We're in a great position, Burnley are bottling it, and well, hopefully, we're going to be in the Premier League next year. I will see you guys tomorrow. It's me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.